Hi, everyone. Tina Swithin, author of Divorcing a Narcissist and founder of One Mom's Battle. And today I want to talk to you about boundaries. Boundaries are not just for others. Sometimes the most important boundaries we set are the ones we set for ourselves. If you are in the process of divorcing a narcissist, or maybe you're in a child custody battle with a narcissist and you were not even married, it doesn't matter because the dynamics are all the same. As mothers, nature intended for us to protect our young. That's what we were built to do. Unfortunately, when we enter the family court system, our hands are tied behind our backs and we're watching our children suffer, and there's little we can do about it. It's truly inhumane. And with that, it's really easy for us to be consumed by this battle. If you weren't, I would want to check your pulse because, I've walked in your shoes. I understand. And so many of us were operating from a place of desperation and panic in these situations. And so, in the survivor community in general, we talk a lot about boundaries as they relate to the toxic or narcissistic individual. But the most important boundaries we set, I believe, are the ones we set for ourselves. So, if you are allowing this battle to consume you, there is no judgment. I have walked in your shoes. And for me, it's been about 10 years since my children were forced into unsafe situations through the family court system. So I have a unique vantage point. I have a lot of distance from my actual battle. And I can look back and see things with clarity versus the fog and the darkness that surrounded me when I was walking through this. And, my battle from start to finish was over 10 years. But my children were only forced into his parenting time for 6 of those years. And then I protected my kids. And then the last 4 years were, a variety of other things and legal issues and whatnot until I terminated parental rights. So all of that to just share that, I have quite a bit of distance from the time I was in the trenches. And I encourage people to set boundaries as it relates to communication with the narcissist. Obviously, you have to follow your court orders and advice from your attorney. If the court orders dictate that you have to check and respond to messages on certain days or at certain times, disregard what I'm going to say because that overrides anything I could share with you. And just to emphasize, I am not qualified to give you legal advice, but I hope to impart some wisdom as you navigate this journey, things that did work for me. So some of the boundaries I implemented, I checked my email. And I will say, if you are using email versus Our Family Wizard or Talking Parents, set a separate email address that isn't your regular email. You don't want to be triggered every single time you open your email. That should not bring you anxiety to check your email. So if you can create a separate email address that is just for this type of communication with your attorney, with family court professionals, with your ex, I highly recommend that. But I only checked my messages on certain days of the week. When my children were really, really young, there was more communication needed. So I checked every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday at a certain time. I had that scheduled into my calendar. So it was kind of like a to-do list that I was checking off or a project. And as my daughters got older, I switched that. So I checked emails every Monday and every Thursday. And, I personally removed the Our Family Wizard app from my phone. I took the notifications off because to me, when my phone is dinging from a message from my abuser, it's no different than getting a text message. So, the beauty of those programs is that you can compartmentalize all of this, communicating with your abuser. So, why do we have it on our phones to trigger us at any given day, time, or day? And so, that was something that I did. Obviously, check with your attorney to make sure that's okay. I even let my ex husband know, if there's an emergency, obviously reach out, but otherwise, I'll be checking my messages every Monday and Thursday morning. So I was setting that boundary. I was communicating to him what I was doing so he didn't, or the courts didn't think that I was just ignoring messages for 3-4 days at a time. I was very clear that this is what I'm going to be doing. And then when it comes to working on your case, it takes up an incredible amount of rent in our head, of space in our heads for obvious reasons. These are our children. And so, outside of emergencies, hold firm to that boundary. Obviously, if you got served with something that's out of your control, or you have to file an emergency hearing because something is wrong and your children are in danger, obviously that there's exceptions to this boundary. But where I'm really touching on this, if you're at your local playground and you're pushing your son or your daughter on the swing and some thought comes up in your head about your next hearing or trial in next month, those are the times where we have to say to ourselves, nope, today I will be present with my child, and Tuesday is the day on my calendar scheduled where I will work on my case. I'm going to tackle this beast on Tuesday. And so, it reminds me almost of I was doing a meditation once, and it was a guided meditation, and the person doing the meditation said, I think of meditation almost as if, you have a little puppy, your mind, wandering away. All of a sudden you're creating your grocery list or something like that. And it's kind of gently bringing the puppy back in and, redirecting the puppy. And so thinking of our minds that way, just being gentle, how we would, work if a puppy were kind of going outside of the boundary we had set for it. We would bring it back in a gentle way. And we have to show ourselves that same kindness because this isn't something that is going to change overnight. Most of the time, we are consumed by our cases and by what's going on with our kids. So, and so many of us, our careers have been sidelined and derailed by this battle, by this journey. So, if you're in the middle of your workday and a thought about documentation pops into your head, just jot it down on your to-do list for Tuesday. Take a few deep cleansing breaths and then do your best to let it go. I hope this has been helpful. I love sharing things that work for me. I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us on social media. One Mom's Battle is our handle on all social media platforms. And I know this can be a very isolating journey. Please know that you aren't alone. I am cheering you on. I'm sending you positive thoughts, and I believe in you.